I wanna know.
A couple of windows closed and the door open, it's still not open. You see what I'm saying? You need to have everything open and understand and look at what that person is going to bring to you. Now, with that saying, I'm going to pass this on to Dr. Feel So Good and give us that knowledge you always embark on us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Feel Good here. You know what I am, you know who I do, and you know where I be. What is a broken heart? Let's talk about that. A broken heart is actually an emotionally driven physical event. Do you know you can actually die? How many people know they can die from a broken heart? Put a 1 in the chat box if you know you can actually die from a broken heart.
Tracy, we won't be putting it because we love ourselves too much. So,
Well,
say this as far as people dying from a broken heart, because I know if a couple's been together for decades and then one dies, and then like months later, or
because Sandra, I'm gonna stop you right there. I was married for 24 years, and everybody said, because my husband and I, we did everything together. He wasn't just that person where I just looked for all the good. We actually, out of 24 years, we might have had one fuss, one. And everybody told me, they said, oh, girl, you know, you love your husband. So, you know, they say the wife normally goes right. I say, stop that lie right now. I loved my husband, but baby, I want to live. So that's not true, Cassandra. You're looking at one that'll give you 100%.
I love that. I think you were, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know you from anything, but you have a self-confidence. Have you always had this self-confidence in you?
Always. All 200
okay, so then that's
pounds.
the difference.
Always.
Yeah, because some people, they define themselves by their relationship.
Oh,
right?
Not
they
me.
define themselves, it's called codependency. They're very codependent on their significant other. So without their significant other, they don't have a voice, a character. They don't have that. So when that significant other leaves by way of death, then they feel no reason to live.
No, that's what they were trying to tell me. I said, no, baby. I love my husband. He's dead and gone. But baby, Dr. Fabulous want to live a long life.
Yeah, but Dr. Feel So Good. I don't know. This just happened, I think, with the one of the school shootings. And I think the person may have had a heart attack, but of course the husband of
one of the teachers.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the teachers just fell over and died. Now, going segue off that, Tracy, the symptoms of a broken heart are sudden and severe chest pain, shortness of breath, weakening of the left ventricle of your heart, fluid in your lungs, irregular heartbeats, and low blood pressure. What does that sound like?
Almost like a stroke.
It is.
A heart attack.
A heart attack or stroke. And the thing about it is that you are so overwhelmed emotionally and mentally that the physical manifestations come out of that. So saying that, you know, people think it's an actual, you know, thing that somebody got a hot mic. Hold on, let me see who's
Cassandra, can you mute your phone?
Okay, got it now. Thank you. So, you know, on my mother's side, my great grandmother and grandfather passed away within 3 months of each other in 1970. My sister was 1, I was 3 going on 4. They were almost 100. My aunt and uncle just recently passed within a week of each other. And you know, now their causes of death were different, but it was still the same. She didn't last too much. She was sick. They were sick around the same time, but they had been married 55 years. So, you know, and you know, Dr. Fab, you're an anomaly that you know, because people when you're doing something for years and years and years and you're doing the same thing and you have the same level of familiarity, it's called being institutionalized. And marriage is an institution. So, you know, for example, people go in the military. They serve more in the military than they've been out of the military. Then they get out of the military. Do you know about 5% of people die within the first 6 months of leaving the military?
Well,
Similar
I know
to,
most military men sure look good cleaners. I always say I need to get me one of them because they love to clean.
They suffer from a broken heart from not being able to, because that's what they wrapped up in there. And it goes back to what Cassandra was saying about people are intertwined with who they're with or who they are, or what they did. Guys and gals that go to jail, you go to jail for 45 years. You come out, anybody saw put a one in the box if you saw Shawshank Redemption. Now you remember Brooksy, the first guy that got out. He was out for like 6 months and he wound up hanging himself because he couldn't take it. That was a manifestation. Morgan Freeman's character Red was going to do the same thing, but then he found that letter from Andy and then he met and they got it. But you've been doing so many things, you're doing the same thing and having the same routines for so many years that's the level of heartbreak. People, you know, your kids disappoint you. And now I'm gonna tell you, this is me. I'm not gonna say it's for everybody, but if one of my kids caught a case for murder, I'd have a broken heart. And the reason I would have a broken heart because I thought that what I did was teach them how to be productive citizens and to do the right thing. And murder is kind of the opposite of the right thing. So I would have a broken heart. The song I was joking with the Lenny Williams song about heartbreak, but that's a symptom. Think about that song. Everybody remember that song because what did he sound like he was doing?
Crying.
He was praying, begging.
Yeah, unless it was self-defense, you know, because if
crooning.
And if my son was Trayvon and Trayvon killed Zimmerman, you know, it is what it is.
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm talking about like,
yeah,
my son was part of the Rolling 60s and got one of his ops. I would be severely heartbroken.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, my son got, I got 3 sons, but so one of my sons, you know, got into was drunk driving, stuff that I knew I wouldn't do and I didn't teach him to do. Luckily, my oldest son hates alcohol. My other 2 don't drink, so I'm good with that. But those type of things happen. Going back to Lenny Williams' song, do you think that turned the lady on more, made him want to get with her get with him, or did that push her farther away?
Pushed her farther away, like Douglas in his stalking situation. It would have pushed them further away because you don't want to be with that person that's doing all this whining and acting like a child and just that's
the windows and shit.
I want to say that like there are couples that are really codependent on each other. You ever meet those couples that I used to have this one girlfriend, she used to call me crying because her husband was cheating. It became so repetitive. At one point, she called me about the same thing, and he worked. My mother was his manager. My mom called me. She was like, I think he got one of the girls up at the job pregnant. So I said, you know, me, because she's my friend from high school, you know, whatever. I think he got one of the, you know, girls up at the job pregnant. Now, when she told me, she told me I was lying and that I was jealous of her and I always wanted her man. You got me mistaken. But see, when you angry, you better listen to how people feel when they're angry because they tell you the truth. Because that's how she always felt about me. We didn't talk for a whole year after that. And then she later called me back to tell me that her husband got the girl at the job pregnant. They had a daughter. but people, like I'm saying, like some couples, they thrive on that toxic stuff.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? They
it's
like
because
he don't love me until he hit me. He don't love
right,
me, like whatever that case is. That works for that toxic.
right. But that's the thing is that that's when heartbreak is unhealthy. When you need to feel something, when something has to happen for you to feel something. Some people are addicted to chaos.
Oh, say it again. Say it again. One more time. Say that one more time.
Some people are addicted to chaos. They don't have the emotional or intellectual depth to deal with a relationship. So
he treat me too nice. Something wrong with him.
The tumultuousness of the situation causes them to get a dopamine hit. It's like a drug. So when you have someone who's slow and steady, I asked a question in one of my Facebook groups, and this we're still in the ballpark. I'm not segueing. Was what makes a boring man? What makes a man boring? The biggest answer said he doesn't do anything. And when you dig deeper, it says, what do you mean by he doesn't do anything? He goes to work, he comes home, he eats, he sleeps. We go out once in a while.
That does happen. Stuff gets boring, and you want the spice.
And that becomes boring.
You want the spice.
So what some people do, and I'm keeping this agnostic, so ladies don't jump on me. So what people do is they'll start an argument to see if the person will argue back. They'll bait the person to see if they argue back, and then they keep doing that.
I thought that was when people wanted to get out so they can go cheat. Was the start of argument?
No, that could be a reason though. No, but that could be a reason. But some people want to start because they want that excitement. They want that dopamine hit of the excitement of the relationship.
Oh yeah, I've had that. Start an argument and try to. Yeah, I definitely had that one.
Because
you know what? I can say that. I can admit that I want that. Like sometimes I want to be choked, and so my thing is, so like you would start. So
Nice to meet you, Cassandra.
What are we talking about?
Danny, stay where you at.
I'm just saying, nice to meet you. Damn.
Danny needs to take off the sometimes though. Who's the sometimes though?
The thing is though, is that, and I understand that, but they say the best intimacy is makeup intimacy.
Exactly.
You can't make up if you don't argue.
Right.
So sometimes people will start arguments so they can have
to get that. Yeah.
That's
called the makeup sex.
The movie with Tyler Perry and Janet Jackson and Tasha.
Why Did I Get Married? Why I Get Married Too?
Where her and her husband constantly argued, but they made love at the end. They always argue so they can have sex.
But after a while, the thing is, you got to keep upping the ante. You have to keep up in the ante, and then one person is saying, "I'm tired of it," and then the other person thinks, "Like, remember Baby Boy when Tyrese's character first he hit her and then he left, and he would not talk to her,
Jody and Yvette,
and wasn't Yvette crying like a little girl?"
Yes.
"You don't love me no more."
And then she took him back. Every time he did something wrong, she'd take him back and they make love, and she want, till he finally got
exactly.
And her words was, "Jody, when I say I hate you, it's cause I like you, Jody." That was so funny to me.
But I mean,
that's true though. That's exactly what I'm trying to explain.
But you see what happened when he left. He took himself out that situation.
I know.
Her heart was broken because she didn't think about him being needing healing. She just said, "He don't love me no more." So, that's with broken hearts. That's what happens, is that people get to a point, I can't do this anymore. And the other person is so used to getting their way, getting that dopamine hit, getting that passion, that their heart gets broken. And then they're in a spiral. And then they try to go replace that. And then that replacement is not as good. Somebody did say that before. I'm not making that up.
Sandy said it.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, is that, you know, like Smokey Robinson's song, although she may be cute, she's just a substitute because you're the permanent one. A lot of times we have to look within before we look without. Why am I feeling bad about this situation? What was like I said earlier, what was my culpability in this situation? Because sometimes we subconsciously start stuff because we want stuff to happen. Sometimes, and I say we because I think everybody in here has done that, whether by omission or by commission. We've all done something to get some passion started because something we thought we were missing something. So we thought we were missing something, and that's where we have those issues with these up and down relationships. You know, people having 4 kids by 5 baby mamas. Baby mamas be having 6 kids by 7 baby daddies. You know, it's that I'm moving around, I'm trying to find that feeling, that dopamine hit, that I want to get that. And this is what caused a lot of heart, because we're still trying to get over that first heartbreak. That first heartbreak we got, and we never really healed. So unhealed people meet other unhealed people, and you get more unhealing, and then you get more unhealing, and it becomes this vicious cycle. It's like crack. You try it once, woo, I'm so high. And then you spend the rest of your life chasing that high until you hit rock bottom. And then, but then that's where counseling comes in, and counseling and time help you understand why you do these things. Because a lot of times we don't understand why we do these things.
Honestly, but how many Black people go to counseling? That's like a detriment of ourselves. We do not do counseling. And we self-medicate. We self-medicate.
Right. And that is a problem, is that we don't trust, Black people culturally don't trust medicine. Mm-mm. We don't trust medicine.
We trust wine, alcohol, and weed. Don't judge me.
But hey, that's I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that wacky tobacco, that hippie lettuce.
I do.
That booger sugar or nothing like that. But the idea is that a lot of us are unhealed from trauma we done grew up with, trauma we inherited while we were at school or at work, trauma in our relationships, trauma with our children. Because if you think you had a smooth way of, you brought your kids up and everything was smooth, I'm gonna call cap. I'm gonna call cap. Now some children are easier than others. I'm gonna bring it home to me. My middle son is special needs. And for years, he was a challenge. He was a big challenge. We could not travel because if we went somewhere, we knew and we couldn't leave him with nobody. And we couldn't take him. So we forewent a lot of stuff as a family, and that was a trauma. Now I love my son. My sister can tell you, my cousin can tell you, I love my son to death. He's a very intelligent young man, and he's very charming when he's good. But it was trauma.
He's slick. That's all it is. He's slick. He's slick with his stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. That too.
But you can't trust him with everybody, because not everybody has that patience and understanding.
Oh, so no, they don't.
Right. So that's why you forego a lot of things. It's like we can't leave them with just anybody, because if somebody mistreat them and lose their patience with them, I'm like, you gonna mess them up. We're gonna have a real problem. And you're right. And that's the thing, is that, but then, you
you get your heart broke because you're kind of resentful for how you're feeling because you can't do those things.
I can't live. Yeah.
Right. So there were those things that, you know, and I'm you notice I'm not keeping it to just romantic love. I'm talking about, you know, different things.
Our kids teach us, let me tell you something. Our children teach us about love on a whole different spectrum that we never, had we not had our kids, we would never loved and probably accepted all the things they have done. Because if it had been someone we were not related to and they did exactly the same thing, we would not put up with it.
And that's what I'm saying. He made me a better person. He made me a better man.
Our kids make us a better person. Yeah.
But I had to get that healing. I go to counseling for a whole bunch of other stuff. But you know, that's why I recommend counseling, because you have to understand that leaning on
the right person. I tried counseling, and both of those two people I tried, we end up talking about their issues instead of my issues.
Then I hope you find somebody that can actually understand what you need.
To do your research
and get you
right. To talk to and their qualifications, and once you read, you know, go through their background and their bio, then you can find somebody that matches with you better. That person probably was not a good fit.
Yeah, they both weren't. They were not a good. Like, I'm a crazy, but I'm like a self-control crazy. But I'm out. You know, I'm a self-aware person.
But that's
the first step is accepting your situation.
I just said it. Sandy, I think Sandy is Heather's alter ego.
But that's what happens though. Is that
question for y'all? Was the therapist that y'all saw black?
I had a white one.
Those two are white.
I currently have a Caucasian and I have a African American coach. So I have a mixture. So that's good because I like the fact that they're biased. They're not biased.
Mine was a black female. She was dope.
Yeah. So yeah.
And the thing is though,
Danny, I'm so glad you got counseling. Now I know how to proceed with you.
But the thing is though,
now I'm gonna need more.
Right. Is that, you know, you have to get within yourself to say, I need to talk to somebody. Our friends you don't want to tell your friends your business. You don't want to tell your significant other your business like that. You want to tell somebody that's dispassionate.
You don't always want to tell your family either.
Right. And disconnected, because people might want to help, but they're always going to have a bias.
I learned it the hard way. That was very, what you just said is valid. You know, you can't always tell your girlfriend. I had to let go. I only got 3 girlfriends. You know, I had to let go a lot of people.
But that's the thing though. And but y'all wonder why men in general, not, you know, this is most men, why men don't tell women to their issues, because we are all, even family sisters, but there's something that I won't tell them. We will not tell y'all stuff because, like you said, Sandy, people will use stuff against you when they mad. People will use stuff against you that's why you were wearing panties.
You know what? You are so right. But let me tell you something. I like, when a person gets mad, I listen to them. Okay, that's what I listen to. But right now, I'm striving to live my truth so no one can use my truth against me. You can't say, you ain't never gonna say nothing. Because let me tell you, my mama said, Sandy, you gonna tell yourself before anybody else will. All my social media is public. If you got something on me, you need to come to me. You better come for me. Because I'm not back. You better come for me and don't half step.
And that's
Sandy,
the thing,
Sandy, put your social media over here in the chat box. I want to follow you. And I want you to follow me. Sky, why not? I want to follow you, girl.
The thing is though, is that we understand that you have to understand yourself before you can let anybody else understand you. Right. And sometimes you got to talk it out. Sometimes you got to talk it out, because what we think we show people and what people actually see are two different things. And sometimes we have to work to get that. What you see on the inside is what's shown on the outside. And you be your true self as well as, you know, like you said, Sandy, you are who you are. Straight, no chaser. Some people's gonna like that. Some people's not gonna like that. And that's hard for every human to understand that as we get older. We understand a lot better when we were at our age now than we did when we were 25, than we did when we were 15, because we wanted everybody to like us when we were younger. Now our give a damn meters are probably at close to zero.
Somewhat agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying though. I'm just saying though. Even Anthony, even at your level now, and you in your mid-30s, right? Even at your level now, when you were 20, you wanted more people to like you than you care about now.
Yeah, but I was content with the people that did like me. Always.
Oh no, that's true. But what I'm saying is overall, is that our circle gets smaller, so we want to make sure that we have quality with us, and more quality people you have around you. Whether you're dating them, you're married to them, you socialize with them. You want to make sure that you're insulating yourself and your people from heartbreak. And those are the things, you know, because the best cure for heartbreak is time. The second next thing you need to do is talk to somebody that you can trust and let go and self-reflect and reflect, because you could talk to yourself all day, but do you listen to yourself? A lot of us don't. and finally, as I close out, is if you see something within you or you see something in somebody, talk to them about it. Said, hey, they may not take it immediately, but it may help them down the road. Plant the seed to recovery. Be somebody's seat, not their crutch or their stumbling block.
Right.
And